Those of the speak necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, everybody. Welcome inside a Tuesday episode of Running Point on ysnlive.com. Brought to you, as always, by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig with you. We have a bunch of basketball previews to get to today. Going to be in the South Range territory to start off because we have the head coach of the boys basketball program, Will Klusenik. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Great to be on. Thanks for having me.
Coach, I know you're in a kind of a holding pattern right now, waiting for your kids that are on the football team to get done with their amazing run, and everyone at South Range hopes that it lasts even longer than this week. But even saying that, I know you have a lot of people on your roster that you know are going to come and make big impacts. So want to start off with a meet the team and go over that roster and who you know is going to make a big impact on this program this year.
Well, like you said, we want to see those guys as far as they can go, and we'll get them when football season's over. We have 6 returning lettermen with Aiden Leone, Joey Plunkett, Landon Moore, Brady Crumbacher, Dylan Turvey, and Jared Klusnick. So those returning lettermen are going to be pretty important for us. And we also get some guys back from injury. Logan Baxter, he's a great athlete. He does a lot of good things in that sport, and we're hoping that carries over. Matt Singleton coming back from a knee injury as a junior, so he's definitely going to get back into the routine here, get back to playing basketball, and hopefully we got some big things from him. And then we have some sophomores with Nate Lewis, Luke Rowan, Gavin Nagy, Jimmy Powell, Tristan Toy, and junior Hudson Moorfield. These guys are all going to be able to contribute. We've got a lot of room for a lot of different roles, and I'm excited to get these guys when the time comes.
When you look at last year and kind of watch the film in the offseason and take in all the things that you can grow from last year, what kind of things popped out to you, and kind of give us a reflection on last season and how you think it went?
Last season, it was tough, obviously, coming in, having known the players, but also being a little bit behind with getting guys from football. I think our biggest issue last year was consistency. At times we looked pretty spectacular, and other times we looked pretty pedestrian. So I think the big thing for us this year is to get more consistent. We talk about the constants every single night. Can you go out and defend? Can you go out and handle the ball? Can you rebound? Can you get yourself to the free throw line? And can you communicate? And if you do those things, you'll be in the game. And then it's just being able to knock down some shots. And we've got multiple shooters that can do that this year. We just got to be able to find them.
We've talked about the kids that you're going to get from this football team, and every year you get them, they come off of a successful season where they know the standards of success and they kind of know how to go and lead a successful program. What kind of benefit is that to have leaders come right into your program and right off of a successful season and kind of set the standard for everyone else?
And that's a big point there. When you got guys that have played in big games that come in and instantly add that athleticism, add that competitiveness, that's what we're looking for. and then we've just got to mix guys in. And like I said, we've got a lot of guys, coming from football that are going to be able to contribute, and it's just trying to find the right mix of guys and the right lineups.
And I know you still got to scrimmage and you still got to practice even with the football season going on. So, what kind of development does that give to the other players that aren't on the football team that are with you now that maybe won't get a lot of varsity time right off the bat when those football players come back, but building the future and building, kind of development into this program?
One of the things that take away from the football team going deep into the playoffs gives me an opportunity to work with the freshmen. Light goes off here. Let me kick the light back on. Here, there we go. It gives me an opportunity to work with the freshman class. I get to see them. They get to play with some older guys. Right now we've had consistently about 12 to 14 guys in there, 5 or 6 freshmen. And they got to see some time against Lisbon varsity when we scrimmaged them on Saturday. We're going to go against United. We're going to scrimmage East Liverpool and Canton Central Catholic. So that's invaluable experience for those young guys as well to get in there, to see where they're at, see what they need to do to improve. But I've been very happy with the freshmen that have been there. And they're doing a very nice job. As a freshman, you get a lot of stuff thrown at you. And I thought they've done a great job. Mason Naples, Jack Carey, those guys have done a great job. Michael Lucas. I'm really proud of how they've been able to handle all this.
On the other end, can you put into words how impressive it is for the players that are on the football team to come in without a preseason and just pick up right where they left off last year?
Well, and I think that's going to be a benefit. They're going to be familiar with some of the terminology, some of the things that we did last year that will carry over. And the hardest part for those guys, you've got football shape and you've got basketball shape. And right now, we're kind of, like you said, in a holding pattern, trying to figure out how many games that we need to move. These guys are going to have 2 or 3 practices and not be in basketball shape and not have picked up the basketball for a couple months. So they've got to be able to learn on the fly. They've got to be able to adjust, and we've got some guys that are able to do that. And I expect it to be a pretty easy transition for them.
It's the price of winning, right, Coach?
That's right. And like I said, I hope they continue to keep going.
All right, so when we talk about this schedule, obviously we'll start with the NE8. It's a big conference. It's a tough conference. Every team in it seems to be very competitive and can beat anybody on any given night. What's it like going through the NE8? How do you see the league shaping up this year? And where do you see the Raiders when you think about the picture of the league?
With the NE8, no matter where you go, at home, on the road, that you're going to get everybody's best. And for us to be able to compete, like I said, we've got to have a consistent rotation, consistent, strengths every single night. And it's going to be a battle. Hopefully as we get going and we start to improve and we get everyone in the mix, we can, be in the top half there of the NE8. We were 6-8 last year, maybe let 1 or 2 slip away. But you've got to hold serve and win the games at home, and hopefully you can steal a couple on the road.
All right. Then non-conference, we know South Range never shies away from competition, even in the non-conference. So who are some teams that pop up on your non-conference schedule that you're really excited to challenge yourself with and kind of sharpen your tools with?
And that's the big thing when I look at our schedule, and I tell Coach Farron all the time, we'll play anybody, anywhere, anytime. And sometimes that makes people nervous because they'll end up looking at the record and going, wow, you've only got 12 or 13 wins this year. But, when you try to make a run in district tournament play that we're trying to do, we want to schedule the best teams that we can. And we really do have a very difficult non-conference schedule with Cheney, with West Branch, Louisville, Lowville, Springfield, Southeast, Smithville, and Salem. So those are pretty good 8 teams that we're going to have to compete against, which hopefully will prepare us for the NE8.
You know, we're talking about this successful football program, but you look around the athletics, staff at South Range, and there's just a standard of excellence in this school system. You look at, baseball, softball, basketball, wrestling, doesn't matter. You pick the sport, they're contending for not just district championships, but they have big goals in mind. What does that do for the student athletes that you get to coach from your perspective, being in a school system that has such a high standard of kind of success with the athletics?
And that's what you want. You want guys that are competitors, guys that are winners, and that's what we've got, and that's what we're trying to establish. Basketball. I don't think South Range has ever won a district tournament, and so that's what you strive for. And you see the success in other sports, and you just want to be able to emulate that. Take some of the leadership that they have in baseball, that they have in football, and bring some of that over. And hopefully you have guys that can lead your team and see some of that same success.
All right, I want you to finish this sentence for me. South Range basketball can win their first district championship if
we continue to develop into our roles, if we continue to buy in, and if we all play together.
All right, Coach, before we let you go, I also want to give you a chance to shout out your assistants and your staff, because we know that you don't do it alone and you have a lot of great people backing you. So give a shout out to your staff and what they bring to the program.
We've got assistant Jim Stitt. He's been around basketball a long time. He's been at Howland. He's been at Harding. He's been a coach at Westminster. Very valuable for our staff. Dan Ritter, who many of the listeners will be familiar with. He's helping out with the 9th grade and JV this year. Tommy Titus, instrumental with a lot of our youth programs. TJ Irons has moved down to the lower level, 7th and 8th grade. And anytime that you can get a guy like that to work down at the lower levels to help you improve the skills at that level, it becomes invaluable. And we have also Tom Titus helping down at the lower levels. But got a great staff, guys willing to help, doing whatever it is we need, and definitely invaluable for me.
All right, Coach, thank you so much for popping on today, giving us a solid preview of South Range basketball. We wish you the best of luck. Can't wait to cover you guys all season, and we hope to talk to you again real soon.
Thank you very much.
All right, Will Klusenik from South Range boys basketball program. They hope to have another successful season. The Raiders do, and they're, like I said, they're in a holding pattern waiting for those multiple talented players that have come off the football team to get on their roster. So going to be a big year for South Range. They have a tough schedule, a tough league, but the thing is, it always prepares them for the tournament. So I think that's why you always think South Range might have a little bit of an edge, especially since the NE8 Gale kind of got conceived 4 or 5 years ago, when they're starting to play, Division II schools twice a year. You're starting to think, okay, this schedule is just different than most Division III schools. So South Range always has a little bit of a leg up when you get into that bracket. So we'll see what they can do this year. Can't wait to cover them, and can't wait to cover that program in the Thriller Dome at South Range that we so lovingly call South Range, the basketball gymnasium. But now we go from the boys' side to the girls' side. We have a pre-record interview with head coach of the South Range girls program, Jeff Fischel. Ty Bartell was able to catch up with him last week. This girls program has won 2 of the last 3 district championships, and those 2 district champions also went to the regional final. So they are a successful program. They have a high standard of excellence, and we're going to hear from Coach Fischel now on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Welcome in, everybody. Ty Bartell in with another basketball coach's corner. This time we go over to South Range and Coach Fish from the Lady Raiders basketball team. Another season in the books, getting ready to start, I should say. Coach, how we doing?
We're doing good. Appreciate you having me on. As always, appreciate what YSN does for the girls' game and making sure that we're shedding lights on both sides of the ball. Appreciate you guys.
Coach, it was a team last year, another successful season, another winning season, very competitive inside the conference. But coming into the season, you guys are losing a little bit of the experience that led the way last year. I'm sure that opens up the door for a lot of youth to take that place too, and a lot of excitement. It's probably swirling around in those practices. What have you seen, and what is the South Range Raiders team going to look like for this season?
Yeah, it certainly gives us a different look. And, thought we had a good offseason. wasn't quite sure what to expect with our practices, and I've been really pleased. We've had a good week and a half. The kids are bought in, and I think our leadership's really going to come from everybody. We've got a nice group of kids. They're getting along. They're working well together, and they're just kind of been together and played that way. Had a lot of energy, so we're excited.
Who are you guys going to be leaning on this year too? And what's the look of the team? What can Raiders fans expect this team to kind of look like stylistically and names wise this year?
Well, Emma Cunningham's back. She's a 3-year letter winner for us, and we're going to go how she goes. She's stepped into that role now where she knows she's the girl, and she's going to get the focus of the defensive scouting reports for everybody else. So, Emma's going to be our leader on the floor and in the locker room. And like I said before, we're going to kind of let everybody take that role as much, but nothing's going to really change. We're going to hang our hat on the defensive side of the ball. That's something with if I'm the coach, that's what we're going to do. And they know that, but new offense this year, trying to get out and transition a little bit more too. So tweaking some things to fit the personnel we have. We've got a lot of athletes, and so we're going to get the ball in space and try to let our athletes play. And so it should be an exciting brand of basketball and should put on a good show every night.
We see that too, that you guys were towards the top of the NE8 once again last year too, just in second place, right behind Poland. It always seems like Coach Blanche and you guys are always battling at the tops for this conference too. What's the outlook look like for the conference this year? How excited are you to play NE8 play this year? And what is your non-conference schedule looking like? How excited are you to play that? What would the grade, I guess, be for your schedule this year?
I'm proud of our schedule every year, and this year is no different. I'd have to give it an A. We start out of the gates at Springfield, and they were 21-5 last year. Coach Matisi's done just a fabulous job there. They get almost everybody back. So we come out of the gates with a really tough challenge. And then the next night we go up to Edgewood and play an Edgewood team that gets everybody back from last year. And then we get Boardman and Ursuline after that. So we 4 really good non-conference games out of the gate. And then we add in Mooney and Hilliard-Davidson in our holiday classic over Christmas. And then we end the year with Western Reserve and Brookfield. So, 2 more games at the end of the season with great coaches and Coach Miller and Coach Forsythe, and a lot of respect for what they do. So our non-conference is definitely going to get us ready for the league. And, 4th year, same answer. 4 years, my answer hasn't changed. Poland's still the top dog, and until one of us figure out how to knock them off, they're going to be there. But just like every year, I love playing in this league. It's such an honor to be part of the NE8 with the competition and the coaches that are there and how they do things and how they approach things the right way. And listen, Struther's going to be really good. Coach Nieder has done a wonderful job there. His daughter Chloe's one of the best players in the state. So Struthers is going to be fine for this thing. Gerard brings some girls back. Coach Saxon is another coach that's done a great job. They're going to be loaded. Lakeview has Maggie Pavlansky, another just player that is known around the state. And they've got some great role players and some incoming freshmen that are really going to help them. So Lakeview's going to be good. TJ Freeman and Jefferson always coach well, and so they're going to be a tough out. Niles and Hubbard, new coaches, not sure what to expect then, but they could come out and certainly surprise some people. Going to be a battle every night, that's for sure.
There's definitely a lot of competition up and down this league, but despite that, you guys always seem to find yourself near the top and always seem to have some moderate to really good success in this conference year in and year out. What do you attribute to that success to, and what role have you thought that you've played in kind of orchestrating these girls to be able to execute and find that success year in and year out?
Well, that has been here. That was here before I got here. And Coach Matisi, when he was here, just what he accomplished was amazing and did a great job. And the culture that was here before him, years ago, Matt Reel was here. When Coach Farron was here, when I was in school. The girls' basketball program at South Range has a long tradition. And we hang our hat on that, and our kids know that, our players know that. And so when they walk into the locker room, they know that we're not competing against what we are right now. We've got to take what's been given us from the past and carry on that tradition to the future. And I think that's why we've been able to, be successful every year is because when our kids walk in the gym, they know that there's a certain level of competitiveness that they need to get to. And they take that seriously, they take it to heart, and they work on a daily basis of making sure that they take care of business.
You talk about that success too, and I've seen a lot of schools too that take that program success, and the kids never want to be that team that year that has like the losing season or doesn't make the playoffs, whatever the goal is for that team. Do you experience those same pressures, or maybe feel it on a smaller scale as a head coach, talking about all those successful coaches that came before you to kind of try to uphold that level of success in the South Range girls basketball program?
There's no doubt. I think I'm a competitor, and I'll admit at the end of the day that I certainly look at wins and losses, and we want to win as many games as possible. But the number one thing here is that we want these girls to be winners off the court. We want them to be winners and leaders in the classroom. We want them to be winners and leaders in the community. We want to make sure they're taking care of business at home. We want them to be good people. We want them to help their friends. We want them to help their classmates. So we don't think that you can win on the court if you don't win off the court. So we start with winning off the court. The funny thing is about that is that it usually attributes to winning on the court because you have kids that approach things the right way and put in the right amount of work with the right attitude. So we start off the court, and we've just been fortunate that we've had the buy-in from the girls, and it's carried over and made us a successful team on the court as well.
Put into words how important youth leagues, youth coaches, and getting kids involved in the sport early is to play out this long-term success and have this kind of success year in and year out.
Ty, that's a great question, because I think I've probably changed my thoughts on that every year that I've been the head coach here. And I think the number one thing is that for youth players, and this is the first year we're actually we're going to enter our third grade team in a league. But it's a fun league, and we run a first and second grade program. Our fourth, fifth, and sixth grade are having practices, and they're going to be in leagues. But I talk to those coaches, and the number one thing is to have fun. If kids don't enjoy, and I don't care what the sport is, softball, soccer, football, whatever it is, if kid doesn't enjoy it while they're young, they're not going to put in the work to get better at it. They're not going to enjoy it when they get older. So I think at the end of the day, sports are fun. We all do this because we enjoy it, and there's a level of fun and reward from that part of it. That's why we do this thing. So we focus that with our young kids. Hey, have fun, get out there, enjoy it. And if they enjoy something, again, funny how that works. If they enjoy something, they're willing to put more time into it.
I like asking this question because I like getting in the coach's head a little bit, because I feel like freshmen, when they join a team too, they're always nervous. They have the butterflies. And I think that they blow things out of proportion sometimes, and they overthink things from time to time. So in saying that, with all these younger players that are coming up into the varsity ranks now, and they're going to try to make an impact and impress you on the team, what are the things you look for those younger players that join the team too? What are the things you're looking for from the freshmen or their first time experiencing varsity with this Raiders basketball team? What impresses you and what gets them minutes?
Well, the first thing is competing at practice. And you're right. Sometimes you'll have freshmen come in and they look at the older girls and they're afraid to box them out on a possession or try to steal it from them, and they don't compete. And that's not making them better. It's not making us better. So if we have a freshman who comes out and competes right away, then that's what we're looking for, that they're not afraid to make sure that they're making the team better. And then you got to be able to play defense. I don't care how fancy you can dribble and how well you can shoot and make layups. If you can't play defense as a freshman, you're going to struggle to find time. But if you can play defense and you're pushing us at practice, we're going to find ways to get you on the court.
Looking at this too, I also want to give you the chance to get us through the staff of the Raiders team. I know sometimes there's changes, sometimes there's not. You bring back the same staff, but in saying that, I also want to give you the opportunity to highlight this 2022-23 edition of the South Range Lady Raiders.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Lauren Pavlansky is our assistant coach / JV coach, and just really fortunate to have Coach Pav on board. This is her second year. She's done a tremendous job. We've kind of handed the reins of our offense over to her, and it's been fun to watch this first week and a half. Just a great coach. The kids really look up to her and respond to her. So really, really just happy to have her around, because she's a true attribute to our program. And then Brock Miller's back in the junior high level. He's been here all 4 years I've been here, and does a great job. And again, another coach that the kids really look up to, and he teaches them the right way, and he puts in the extra work and does a great job. Troy Scott's going to coach our 7th grade team. And Troy, I have so much admiration for, because Coach Scott was our JV coach, and then his daughter got into junior high, so he wanted to take a step back, but he still wanted to help. So last year he ran his youth program. Now this year we need a junior high coach. He said, Coach, I'll do it. So every program needs a coach like Coach Scott, who's just willing to do what the program needs. And we can thank a lot of our success due to what he's done. And Kaylee Luckland's kind of in a coordinating role this year, helping us with the behind the scenes stuff that everybody needs. And that's such a great help. And we finally got to that teaching job at South Range. So we landed a good one there in the district, and hopefully Kaylee's here for years to come.
Final question for you, Coach, and then we'll let you go. When I was talking with Coach Blanche the other day, he was telling me about how the youth leagues, the little bit younger teams, were experiencing a little bit of trouble just getting participation, a little bit lower than what Poland expects. And I mean, we talked about the ripple effect from COVID too, and how that kind of took kids away from youth sports at younger ages too, and it was hard to keep kids involved. Have you noticed anything like that, or maybe another ripple effect from COVID? And how's this season been like the years prior? Does it feel like you guys are getting back to that normal routine of a basketball season again?
Yeah, that COVID year 2 years ago was rough on everybody, because there were so many shutdowns. Every day you woke up, you didn't know if your game was going to get canceled, if you were going to get on a 10-day shutdown. You didn't know, and that made it tough to get through the season. And I think that definitely trickled into last year, where programs really across the country, as I researched it, were down in numbers, because the experience from 2 years ago wasn't very enjoyable. So I think a lot of girls and boys on both sides didn't want to play basketball.
Yeah, they checked out.
Yeah, they didn't want to do that again. And our approach this past off season was almost a less is more approach, where we didn't try to overdo anything. We kind of got back to what we talked about before, about just letting them kind of have fun. And if they're having fun, they'll be willing to do it more. So our numbers are back. We had, I think, 12 in the program last year. We're up to 19. And certainly it's nice to, and knock on wood that something doesn't come creeping back around, but it does feel like we're back to whatever normal was. It feels like we're there, because we're able to do the things that we've been able to do prior to COVID.
All righty, Coach. We thank you so much for your time to join us a little bit for a preseason preview of this Lady Raiders team. You can catch Coach Fish and all the Lady Raiders as they take on the Springfield Tigers, opening up their season on November 21st, and I believe that's on the road, if I'm not mistaken. So
we're in the Tigers Den, baby.
Yeah. Catch them in the Tigers Den. Coach Fish and the Lady Raiders open up the season again on November 21st. This has been another edition of Coach's Corner with South Range Lady Raiders.
All right, one show, and we have South Range taken care of. We've heard from Will Klusenik, the boys' head coach, and now Jeff Fischel, the girls' head coach. Ty did a great job with that interview, and both those programs are going to have great seasons. And when you talk about the girls' program, because we talked about the boys' program before, the girls' program, yeah, I think everyone's going to be like, okay, they lost Lexi Giles, who's going to be the next player to step up. You watch out. Obviously, he brought up Emma Cunningham. She's going to be the returning starter with 3 years a 3-year letter winner under her belt. She probably has the most experience in the team. Watch out for Devin Sauerwein. I think she's going to be a player that got her feet wet last year, got a lot of varsity minutes last year, probably a little bit more confident this year. I think she can score at a high clip. We've seen her do it at the JV level, at the junior high level. I would watch out for Devin this year. I think that's going to be a sleeper for South Range. We're going to take a break on Running Point, and when we come back, we're going to hear from their rival. It's going to be Poland's head coach, Nick Blanche. He had a chance to sit down with Ty Bartel as well. We're going to play that pre-recorded interview for you when we get back from this break on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
I support police funding, securing our borders, and parental rights in education. I'm attorney Mark Hanai, the only Republican running for the 7th District Court of Appeals. I will always follow the law.
Paid for by the committee to elect Mark Hanai judge. Dave Johnson, chairman.
Fall is in the air. The kids are back to school, crowds are cheering for the home team, and Myers Family Insurance is prepped for another crazy Medicare season. Every year there's changes, some big, some small, so it's important to have a conversation to make sure your plan is going to meet your expectations for the coming year. Give our team a call today to schedule your annual review.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance or visit us on the web. Check us out online at myersfamilyins.com.
Locally owned and operated, Sheely's relaxed shopping experience means browsing and lounging is always encouraged.
Find Flex Deal and more at Sheely's Furniture and Appliance, because the best things in life happen at home.
I'm Mark Hanai, a conservative Republican. I believe in family values, the Second Amendment, and our Constitution. Vote for the only Republican running for the 7th District Court of Appeals. Protect your rights. Vote Hanai for judge.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Your teams work hard and give it all they've got. Well, so does ours, because 21 Sports and YSN give you extra effort when covering local sports. 21 Sports and YSN, winning coverage of our Valley's teams.
Hi, I want to tell you about my Trish Yearwood home collection available at Sheely's Furniture. With 2 locations serving Ohio and Pennsylvania, Sheely's is one of the country's top sellers of my home collection. And the best part? At Sheely's, you never have to wait for a sale. They offer everyday low pricing as well as a price match guarantee, so you can shop the Trish Yearwood home collection with confidence. Come see my collection with something to offer for every room in your home and get it all with free local delivery, only at Sheely's Furniture.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig with you as we continue this episode, and we continue a lot of basketball previews. Today we already got through South Range. We did Jeff Fischel, and he was able to join Ty Bartell earlier in the week. We played his interview, and we had Will Klusenik on live to lead off the show. We're going to stay in the NE8 this show and give you an interview with Nick Blanche, the head coach of the Poland girls basketball team. Felt like it was appropriate to put him and Jeff Fischel in the same show, since those two are always fighting for an NE8 championship. It's come down to those two every single year the NE8 has existed. Last year, Poland got the best of it. They won the NE8 2 years ago. Those two teams shared. And Poland has not had a year in the NE8 where they haven't had at least a piece of that NE8 championship. So we're going to hear from Nick Blanche, hear what he expects from this season, and it should be another good one in Poland. Here you go, Nick Blanche, head coach of the Poland girls basketball team on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Welcome in, everyone. Ty Bartell in with another Coach's Corner. This time, I mean, one of the best. Does he even need any introduction? It's Coach Nick Blanche from the Poland girls basketball team. And Coach, I mean, the first and foremost, start off another successful season for you guys last year. You guys win another conference championship, and you have another winning year overall. Looking at that from last year to this year, what are going to be some new faces? And let's get that meet the team segment for it, because we always know they put out a good team every year over there in Poland.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. I appreciate you having me on. We have 2 returning starters. We lost 3 starters from last year's team, big losses in Connie, Abby, and Morgan. And we have 2 returners, Mary Brandt and Katie McDonald, in the starting lineup. Key components coming back, seniors would be Ariana Daniels. She'll be a 4-year letter winner this year. Sarah Forsyth, she'll be a 4-year letter winner this year. Ava Nicoludis will be a 3-year letter winner at the end of this season. And Brooke Rowe is the other senior that not a lot of people know about. She has had 3 ACLs. Her freshman year, she tore her ACL. She retore it her sophomore year. Her junior year, she played a little bit close to a half a season and then tore her other ACL. And now she's back and better than ever. She's been working extremely hard, extremely motivated, and she appreciates being on the floor than anybody else does because it's been taken from her for 3 years. Our juniors, I already mentioned Mary, she'll be there. That's a name that most people will know. Allie Grope and Leanne Williams, those are 2 other juniors. Leanne Williams is a 3-year letter winner after this season. She will be, and Allie Grope will be her 2nd letter. Sophomores, we have some returning letter winners and some new faces. 2 girls that will be their 2nd year to letter this season would be the Harrell sisters, Kate and Lucy. And then you have Kylie Hudrin. Those would be the returning letter winners from last year. And then you added Gianna Bendis and Macy Rogers. And then we have a slew of freshmen coming in. We have Leanna Bocheri, call her Lily, Lauren Koss, Avery Yakubovic, Lily McDonald, Katie's little sister. She's new to the gang. Diane Smith and Eliana Thompson. So we have yet to bring the band together because we are dealing with fall sports right now, which is a very good thing. We have very successful fall, and our girls soccer team is in the regional semis tomorrow against Lakeview. So we wish them the best. And but right now we still have 7 big pieces to come together, and we're doing the best we can right now, and on the march to November 28th against Fitch.
Let's one player I want to highlight too, and you mentioned her, in Katie McDonald, because she's just a player that I've been so impressed with in the 3 sports that she participates in. It seems like every single one she's gotten better in, and she's able to find time to work on every sport while being a great student every year. What can you speak on her as the basketball coach, what she's put in not only in the sport, but what kind of leader and kind of presence she is to be around this team, and how much you're going to be leaning on her to kind of set the tone of what it means to play Poland basketball this year?
Oh, she brings she brings what coaches can't coach. I mean, she's 6'3", and she's a solid presence for us. Defensively, nobody wants to go near her because they know what's going to happen. And offensively, I mean, you can have the best game plan, but when she puts her hands up in the air, she's near 7 foot tall. So, it's kind of hard to match that. So we're really going to miss that. But I'll tell you what, she came back from volleyball after the great season they had, and she's been our vocal leader so far. I mean, again, we don't have everybody there, but Katie's really stepped up to be that friendly face to her teammates. Just a great leader. I expect big things from her, and I just appreciate the fact that she gives us everything she's got. I mean, she plays volleyball. She does what she needs to there. She comes to us, and then she goes to softball. And softball's her bread and butter. She's superior there. But every year she has gotten better in each of those sports, and I'm just really proud of her, and I'm glad she's been a part of our program.
Also highlighting, you're going to get an influx of youth, 6 freshmen coming into this team this year. And I just had a conversation with a coach, and I guess similar question I'm going to ask in this. When you bring on such a large group of freshmen to a varsity team, do you find it more difficult, or do you find it more challenging for the freshmen to become acclimated with the on-court stuff and the in-game stuff, or the off-court stuff and just getting comfortable with the team off the court and, building those bonds and that family atmosphere that Poland's so known for?
Yeah, it's both. It really is, because, and we were the same when we were kids and playing on teams. And when you have the older kids there, you're a little nervous because you're like, I want to be liked. So like in practice when we're doing drills and I have to go against this girl, I really don't want to hit her too hard because I don't want her to think, I'm being too much, like hit her too hard on a box out or things of those sort that they worry about. Then off the court, am I going to be invited to the team bonding thing? When I do, who do I talk to? And that comes down to your seniors. Like, how available do they make themselves? Do they put themselves out there and welcome these kids, or do they keep to themselves and make these kids feel like outsiders? And we've always been fortunate here to our seniors do a great job incorporating the young kids. And that's been a tradition that's gone on for a long time. That's the way you have to be successful, to have any chance to be successful. Because if you're divided from within, you have zero chance to be successful, in my opinion. So, but the on the court stuff, that's what we're there for as far as coaching goes. They're always going to be a little intimidated and get down on themselves very quickly if they feel like they're the ones holding it up. Like everybody else knows what they're doing except me. Well, that's because everyone else has at least 1 year under their belt. And again, that's that leadership. Our kids rolling their eyes and like, oh, we got to do this again because of her. Or are they like, hey, come over here. This is what you do. Because as a coach, you can only get to so many people at a time. So if you have players leading as well, it kind of helps cover more bases quickly, and you can move on with practice because kids are helping one another out. And again, we've had that so far, Katie being the ringleader with that. But I'll tell you what, Sarah Forsyth has really stepped up, Ava Nicoludis, Brooke Rowe. I mean, we have 4 out of our 5 seniors right now with us. All we're missing is Ariana, and Ariana, she's a proven leader on and off the floor as it is. So bringing her on is just going to be an added bonus. But I'm really, really, really appreciative of the effort that these kids are putting forth. I mean, we still have a long way to go, but what team doesn't at this point?
You talked about the nerves that those freshmen experience, and of course they're all going to experience that first year in practices before the anxiousness leading up to the season. But what are the things out of that freshman class that you're looking for, or that impress you and your assistants, that give these girls playing time in the future? I know you like the term baptized by fire, so they're getting playing time regardless. But what does ultimately impress you, and what are you looking for out of this freshman class?
Just attitude and effort. We talk about that every day. If you give me and give this program a good attitude and your best effort, you're going to be just fine. It's the kids that want to resist, or we have to do this, and the body language and the sour faces, sour attitudes. Those are the kids that don't last long. And it's probably my fault in their eyes, and then that's okay. I'll take that blame. But I've been around long enough. I know what breeds success, and you've got to have a good attitude, and it's that simple. If you want to get better and you have that good attitude about it, doesn't matter your skill level, you will get better. Not everybody's a superstar, but you can contribute in some way, shape, or form as long as you want to put in the time and effort and be coachable. Like when somebody's trying to help you, are you rolling your eyes, got the hand on the hips, got the attitude, or are you listening, like, thank you, and moving on and trying your best? And right now, these 6 freshmen have done that. The freshmen that are there, I should say, because we're still waiting on 3 of them from soccer. But while they were with us over the summer and we did the summer leagues and we were talking to these kids, they really did a nice job listening and being coachable. And that's all I ask of them. As long as you're giving me your best, I'll take whatever that is and we'll make the best of it.
Can you put into words how much value is going to be put into these freshmen experiencing this level of success before they even get to you, and kind of having that under their belt before going into a basketball season?
Yeah, I think it is important, like the success the program has, because I think it keeps the younger kids interested in the program. If you're a program that is struggling to win or put a decent product on, the community sees that, the kids see that, and it's very easy for people to be like, oh, I don't want to play that sport. I'm not going to waste my time. Things of those sorts that we've had to battle over the years from when I first took this program over. You talk to kids, well, why don't you want to play? My parents don't want me to. They want me to focus on this instead because that program's not as good and this and that. Okay, I understand that, but it has to start somewhere to build it up. But we talk to some coaches, and some coaches are struggling to get a few freshmen out, and part of that is just building the interest when they're younger. Like right now, our 7th grade group right now, we have 9 kids on the team, and that was the COVID affected group. They didn't really play 5th and 6th grade basketball. We've always had that. they didn't have those opportunities. And so out of those 9 kids, like 7 of them have never played basketball before. So we're starting from bare bones with that group. But again, they come every day, they work hard, they do the best they can. But we haven't had that in a long time, where we haven't had, 11, 12 kids come out and have at least half of them with experience. So, you've got to build that up and build that culture back up. But when you do that, people want to be a part of the winning, and that's why it's important to not only have outgoing seniors but also have success, because there's so many things to pick from these days. Now we have lacrosse, we have swimming, we have wrestling, all these things that have been added on, which is great, but you're going to go where it's more convenient for you in most cases. Because in our school system specifically, we really don't have those girls that are diehard basketball only. Like, we have kids like this fall, my fall workouts consisted of 3 kids, and we have 20 kids in the program. And that just goes to show you that being a Division III school now, we're smaller. So we understand what this is like. And these kids are all playing everything. Most of my kids are 3-sport athletes. And so you got to share and be willing to work with the other sports and not try to hog the kids or talk them out of playing and, do those things and yet be successful, So there's a lot on the plate to do for coaches and players, because they're trying to make everybody happy as well and choose what fits them the best.
I think we're definitely going to start seeing that ripple effect from COVID for the next few years for sure. And it's not just going to be in schools like Poland, but a lot of smaller schools, I think, are going to be challenged with that. But in speaking of success, you guys had another successful year this year. You mentioned that you guys open up with Fitch, but looking at the schedule, there's some other great teams on there. I see Champions on there out of Conference Salem. There's some great teams on there. I mean, as a coach, I always got to ask, give the schedule, I guess, a grade. What do you think of this schedule going into this season, and how well do you think it's going to prepare you guys for tournaments?
This schedule's an A. I mean, always. I mean, we don't shy away from anyone. We look to play everyone. We did lose the Howland game. They were double booked, but Howland's excellent as well. And but they had double booked us with a game. They already had something scheduled. So
scheduling conflicts, yeah.
So we lost that one, but we'll go against all of them. And I think Boardman, you're going to have Hamilton back there. He's got a lot of kids out. I mean, they're going to be up and coming this year. We have them. That's our first 3 games: Fitch, Champion, Boardman. I mean, that's right out of the gate. We're going to see Zeta right out of the gate November 28th. So she's going to be phenomenal. And then we go into tournament play against Girard. So, I mean, and then we go into our United Way game against Salem, which, needless to say, Coach Hamilton does a great job over there. Mm-hmm. They're going to be ready to play. So, I mean, there is no let up. We got Canfield twice. Of course, you got our league games, which are always going to be challenging. I think Struthers, South Range, things of that sort. Lakeview's up and coming. I mean, there's going to be some good competition there. Hubbard has a new coach, so we'll see what they bring to the table. Girard's going to be tricky. I'm telling you, they got a couple good players over there that can cause a lot of problems in the matchup zone. So, we'll see how it all goes, and we end our season with Mooney. Mooney's going to be a good team. Coach Diorio does a great job over there. So we took Canfield and Mooney at the very end to get that as motivation, to amp up our play going into. We wanted strong competition heading into tournament play. So we know that's what we'll get from those 2 games, and then we'll see what the tournament brings. And, I only know so many teams in this Division III bracket because this is new for us this year. So I have to figure out who, outside of 5-6 teams that I know of, they haven't come out with the official release yet. But I'm just basing it off of last year to kind of get an idea on who I should be watching throughout the regular season. So it's going to be another adventure. Like I said, every year is just a 1,000-piece puzzle. They scatter it on the table, and we got to piece it together somehow, some way. And, we've been really successful to do that, and very fortunate, I should say, to be successful here. And hopefully we keep it rolling.
Final question for you then, Coach. Who's helping you piece everything together? Who's your assistants? Who's the other big names in the program on this 2022-23 edition of the Poland Bulldogs?
Well, we lost Coach Martin from this year. From past 8 years, we've had him. So he is now coaching the boys basketball team. So that was a huge loss for us. But I feel very good about the people we brought in. I brought in John Dubeck. He has coached at Struthers. He has coached at Austintown Fitch. very good coach. Could be a head coach if he wanted to. Knows the game, very personable with the players, and just like I said, very, very good fit. We brought back Coach Aaliyah Diamond. She will be our freshman coach and helping out with the varsity. Former player of mine, again, stellar athlete, stellar coach, volleyball coach, had a great year this year. And then Bella Guidus, we brought her back, former player. She was over at Struthers coaching, and we had an opening, so we brought her back. Second all-time leading scorer. She was the one who originally broke the record, and then Jackie Grisdale came through and broke her record. But phenomenal player. The girls respect her because they know she's not only talking the talk, but she can walk the walk. And those are going to be the four people, myself included, putting everything together. We're working really hard behind the scenes. The girls see that. And all we want is their best effort and best attitude. So far, we're getting that, and we are beyond pleased and can't wait to get our 7 pieces back from soccer after they go as far as they possibly can.
Well, Coach, we can't wait to see you guys on the hardwood again. We wish you the best of luck this upcoming season, and you could catch the Poland Lady Bulldogs as they fare through a very new Division III going into this season. Coach Blanche and crew will be on the court against Austintown Fitch to open the season. This is Ty Bartell with another edition of Coach's Corner.
This is Nick Blanche, the head coach of the girls program down there at Poland, and I'm so excited Bella Guidus is going to be on that coaching staff. That just makes total sense. One of the leading scorers of the program, just second all-time in scoring, right behind Jackie Grisdale, who's doing her thing at Quinnipiac as a Division I athlete. So very excited to see that she's going to be an assistant on this team. And no one better to learn from. Excited to see what the Bulldogs bring to the table. Always a good team. You can always know that Poland's going to play really, really good defense. They're not going to have to score 50, 60 points to win most of their games. They're going to be able to win a lot of games this year. 42 to 30, those kind of games. Really tough to score on Poland's defense, and that'll never change because defense is not about talent, it's not about skill, it's about effort, and it's about how well are you coached and how well do you allow yourself to be coached. And these are two things that the Poland program has always done really well. Whether they have coachable players that buy into the program, buy into the philosophy, and they have really good coaching staff, and that doesn't change at all as Nick Blanche goes into another year as the head coach of Poland. He has over 200 wins, 222 to be exact. So he'll try to get, hey, let's go for 22 more this year. Who knows? Poland will start their season against Austintown Fitch later on in the month of November. I believe that's November 28th against Fitch. So going to be a good one. Can't wait to watch the Bulldogs, the Raiders as well. We thank Coach Klusenik for his time and Coach Fischel for their time. Those are the three coaches we're going to have on today. Preview tomorrow, because we do have a coach live at 1:15. We'll be heading down to Columbiana and talk to Dave Chrisman, the head coach of the Clippers girls basketball team. Glad to talk to him. He's one of the best minds in the sport. He's been doing this for a while at different schools, different stops. He's had a good stay at Columbiana, though, so he should be another good year for the Clippers in that EOAC as they try to vie for an EOAC championship. Can't wait to talk to him tomorrow. We'll also have a couple of pre-recorded interviews that we can play for you. We have a ton to choose from. I'll try to make it, a theme. Try to see if we have any that we can play that are either going to pop up on Columbiana's schedule or kind of fit in that realm. Try to make it kind of make sense that those coaches are on the show. That's what we did today. We had South Range. Hey, let's stay in the NE8 and go with the team that is always fighting South Range for the NE8 championship with Poland. It made sense to go with that. So we're going to try to do that tomorrow, see what we have in the can, because we got a lot of them to share with you in the next 2 weeks before basketball season officially starts on Friday, November 18th. That is getting closer and closer, less than 2 weeks away now. It'll be a week from Friday. We'll be in the middle of football playoffs, but we'll also be in the start of basketball season at the same time. And there are teams that have already said that they open the season with that date on the 18th. We talked to Coach Modelski from Lowville yesterday. They'll open the season on the 18th. And I believe also we talked to Coach Haney from Lakeview will open the season on the 18th as well. So those would be not the only two that are on that night, but definitely two that will be on that night for basketball in the Valley. As the 18th starts the girls program, start the 18th. The boys season will start the week after that, and then we will be rolling all the way through those cold winter days. Before we get out of here, I do want to kind of promote real quick our volleyball all-star game that is happening on Saturday at 6 o'clock at Crestview. Right now we have 47 athletes confirmed to be playing at that all-star game, and a lot of schools will be represented. We're going to come out with a roster once it's completely locked down and we know exactly who's coming. We'll release that roster, and we're proud of it. We're proud of the players that have confirmed to be on the teams. We can't wait for a really good night at Crestview. They've opened the red carpet for us. It's going to be a fun night. Alyssa Birch from Boardman is going to be one of our coaches, as well as Heather Guthrie from Lakeview. So they've both given up their time, their Saturday night, to come and help with the game. So we thank them for that. We'll have more information coming soon, but I just wanted to get out and just say it is happening. It is Saturday at 6 o'clock, and it will be a very fun time. Make sure to get on out. It's going to be $5 at the door for a ticket. They're going to be concession stands. I know the Crestview softball team actually stepped up, and they're going to be running the concession stands for us. So Mr. B will be announcing, like he gloriously does from that Crestview press box. It's going to be a fun time on Saturday. Make sure to come out to Crestview and see the best volleyball players in the YSN family take the court one last time before we say goodbye to volleyball and hello to basketball. Also, we want to preview tonight. We're going to have some live shows for you. Steve Leslie will be at the Golden Dawn for another edition of Ursuline Football live from the Golden Dawn. And here's who he's going to have. Hold on. I had it. Live streaming, right? Here we go. That's not the right profile. Oh, he's gonna have a lot of players at the Golden Dawn, players, and then Coach Reardon. Make sure to check that out live, and then also Legends Food and Drink, another edition of South Ranges. They continue their playoff push as well from the football programs. Those are both going to be live tonight from remote places. We can't wait for those like we do every week. That'll be tonight. Power Hour will come up from 3 to 4 to follow us, and they'll have a great show for you today. DJ will have a great show for you from 3 to 4, and then we'll see you tomorrow from 1 to 2. Don't forget Dave Crispin, the head coach of the Columbiana Lady Clippers, will be joining us at 1:15 live on the show tomorrow. Hop on, join us, and we'll have some more basketball previews for you tomorrow from 1 to 2 on Running Point, brought to you